right, perfect. So thank you so much, Giorgio, and thank you everybody for tuning in today to hear a little bit about innovation management. Today I'm coming to you from Steinbeis University School of Management and Innovation, which I think is actually quite cool because, of course, the study program we're talking about today is actually in our name itself. Today we'll talk about a couple of key subjects. So first of all, why Steinbeis SMI? What services do we offer to our students? What is the way we teach, etc.? Professor Buza already talked a little bit about the practical approach to education as well. Our location and key data. Then, of course, we'll go into the actual program, the Master of Science in Business Management with a focus on management and innovation. Finally, we'll come to the admission process, and all of my contact details will be given out for any questions that you might have that you've forgotten to ask. Of course, you can always reach out to Giorgio too, I'm sure, as well, and they'd be happy to support you guys. So first of all, we'll discuss then why Steinbeis University School of Management and Innovation. When it comes to us, our history goes back over 150 years. And here on the right, you can see a picture of our founder. His name was Ferdinand von Steinbeis. It's important to know that he was one of the first people to realize that if you go into a classroom and you're a university student and you spend all of your time, reading the different texts, books, writing papers, etc., but you never actually use this knowledge in real world case studies, real world, I would say, situations, that oftentimes this knowledge is not transferable. So later on, when you do go into your jobs, often these students have a bit of trouble kind of, finding out how to actually use the knowledge in the real world. So when it comes to the way that we teach, of course, it's important to know that we are practice oriented. So that means your classes will take place in the morning usually, and in the afternoon, there's time for what we call the transfer projects, where you really transfer this knowledge into real world case studies, business problems, things like this. That way, when you do graduate, you have a fundamental knowledge of how to actually use your skills from your degree in the real world. So again, in the end, our mission is really to equip our students with the skills they need to stay competitive within the job market. Important to note is that we are 100% German state approved and FIBA accredited. All of our programs are taught in English. So for you guys, of course, coming across the world, you might not have any German language knowledge. For the study program at Steinbeis, at least that's not a problem at all. You will have the chance to take German lessons if you'd like to during your studies as well. Again, all of our professors are coming from the industry itself, so they take a very practical approach when it comes to teaching. That way you get to have the kind of this inside look into the actual, business itself. I always kind of talk about this as driving a car, so to say. So you go to, school, learn how to drive. Once you sit behind the wheel, it's a little bit different. So these professors can kind of help give you tips and tricks on, how to best adjust into the actual working world. And finally, all students, and there was a couple of questions I saw relating to this as well, all students that do graduate from Steinbeis will have the chance to stay in Germany afterwards. They simply take their degree to the Foreigners Authority, and you receive an 18-month stay-back visa option in order to find a job. Furthermore, another thing that we help and we spend a lot of time and resources on, especially for international students as yourself, is the career preparation. So of course, the reason that most students study, especially when it comes to management and innovation, is because they want to kind of, go on later into a successful field, maybe at an international company, or, they want to go into a certain area. And it's important to prepare your future career goals during your studies. That way you don't waste time once you graduate. So once you arrive on the campus, we have different services for you, such as the profile analysis, where we help you to figure out your strengths and weaknesses. We'll have one-on-one coaching sessions so we can better those weaknesses, help you to build up your profile. And of course, various trainings on things like personal branding, social media, CV, cover letter. And of course, then in the end, we do help with the job search until you actually find a job. That way, you do have support, you're not completely alone. It makes the transition from being a student into a working professional that much easier. Finally, we do have many different networking events with some of our cooperation partners. So here you can see a couple of them. I'm sure you recognize some of the logos here as well. Google, for example, SAP, Coca-Cola is known probably in the smallest village here on the earth as well. So perhaps one day that would be a future employer for you as well. So what about our location and key data? We are located in the middle of Berlin. So Berlin is a very large city. It has many different middles, so to say. We ourselves are located here in the West Middle, only 14 minutes away from the Berlin Central Station. So this means for those of you that haven't, you might not have public transport at home. For example, I myself am from the United States, and the first time I ever rode a train, took a bus, was here in Germany. So for those of you guys that are kind of unfamiliar, you come out of the train station, you sit in a bus, and it takes you directly to the campus. Here at the bottom, we have a couple of pictures of the university. So here on the left is the building that we are housed in. It used to actually be a factory, but as I think Professor Buse had also mentioned before, sustainability is something that is, of course, on the rise and also important to us. So we renovated this old factory to be a university. Here we have the study center, for example, in the middle picture, where students will kind of, get together, have group study sessions, meet after class, things like that. And here on the right is just one of our example classrooms. When it comes to the location, Berlin, I would say, and of course, I guess we could start a fight on which city is, of course, the best here in Germany. I personally love Berlin because of its internationality. I think it's a lot easier for international students also to kind of adjust. So oftentimes, or I would say 9 times out of 10, the people here speak English quite well because it is the capital. They're used to having so many international visitors, etc. So the transition period is a little bit easier, I would say. It was for me, especially. And of course, when it comes to housing accommodation, things like this, the people are quite often used to conversing in English as well. So this could be something that, would help you in the end to find accommodation faster and to kind of prepare a little bit more for your studies. So what about the actual program? What programs do we have? So we're talking today about the Master of Science in Business Management. And that is the actual degree that you do receive in the end at Steinbeis University. So it's important to know that this here is the main master's degree, the Master of Science in Business Management. And we actually have many different specializations. So Management and Innovation, which we'll talk about in just a minute, is actually only one of 4 that we do offer at the moment. In total, the program does go over 4 semesters or 2 years. It is 120 ECTS. And the next semester start will be April of 2023, otherwise October 2023. We do have an application deadline. So if you would like to join us in April, we ask you to please submit your application by January 2023, otherwise July 2023 for the October semester. This has a couple of reasons. So for those of you guys, of course, tuning in from many different countries, it does take a while to get the visa process. So depending on your country, make sure that you do inform yourself of the visa waiting times. We always encourage our students to apply as early as possible. That way you can avoid deferring, and that way you can avoid the stress of kind of doing everything last minute, so to say. So the earlier, the better. We are a private university, so again, we do have many different services that we provide to the students, especially when it comes to the classrooms, things like this, Career Center. We do have tuition fees, so they are $5,700 per semester, otherwise $22,800 for the total program. We do have scholarships, of course, up to 25% can be saved off of your entire study fees. So if you are interested in a scholarship, please let us know, and we'd be more than happy to have you take part in our scholarship competition. So moving on then, what about the specialization then in management and innovation? It's important to know that this is kind of more of a generalist course. So we want to start you out with a good foundation within business. You can apply to this program if you have studied something that is not business oriented. So say you've studied chemistry, biology, English, something like this, you can always apply to the program. The first semester is basically the basics of business. So you have, strategic management, project management, finance, kind of, the foundation that you need in order to go into a corporation or company later on and be able to manage efficiently. So our basic courses definitely provide a deep understanding of all the corporate functions from, finance to HR to, the mathematical statistics area. And it is taught by people coming from the industry. So all of our professors do have experience in these areas. And as I mentioned before, they can give you inside tips into the industry itself. Again, this program is kind of more of a generalist program that is there to let you solve complex management issues. So of course, every single company is looking, you need managers really, so they're looking for people who can think complexly and problem-oriented, so to say, solution-oriented, I apologize. So again, this will kind of give you the tools that you need to look at all facets of a corporation, all facets of a company, and to come up solutions for said companies. And finally, again, we do take a practical approach to education. So when you do your transfer projects, you'll have these problems that you do need to solve. They're not always easy to solve, which again fits to the study program, because we do want you to think in complex manners when solving these issues. So when it comes to, again, this year is the first year that you will spend on learning the basics. Moving on to the second year, so when you actually specialize in management and innovation, it's important to know that this specialization does give you access to more job opportunities. Because it is more of a generalist degree in the end, you can go into various fields, be this, working for maybe hospitals or marketing companies or universities, for example. All these different types of areas are open because you don't have, a specific area that you have chosen to specialize in, such as, data analytics or marketing. You can bring yourself in many different fields. Again, this also lets you remain competitive in the job market because you can switch freely and you're very flexible with your knowledge to use this on very many different career fields. And again, businesses are always in need of innovative managers to stay viable. Businesses have to grow with the world. They need to change in order to be competitive, to stay, competitive, I would say, over their rivals. So in general, this is a study program that will give you the tools in order to find a job that is always needed later on. So again, in the second year, you will specialize in management and innovation, and our specialist courses are really geared to give you a cutting edge in the end into this field. So this will have things such as entrepreneurship or managing the modern organization. Innovation management itself, of course, is a very large topic. Strategic management, international and intercultural management, I think today is a very prevalent class that we could talk about later on in the questions, etc. Because again, here in Germany, it's an extremely international country, and you will often within companies have an international environment. So how do you manage in such an international environment? All of these questions and more and classes will be then taught in the second year of your specialization of the program. So finally, when it comes to the admission process, so you are interested, you would like to apply, we're always happy for that. You can apply here. Everything is done digitally. So the whole application process takes place online. I can show you where to find that if you'd like here as well. So again, here, click on Apply Now. Simply scroll to the bottom, fill out your information. It only takes about 5 minutes and you're good to go. Here again, you can upload all your documents. So we only needed them in a PDF form, and it is quite a very easy process. So you will, in order to be able to study this program, have to have a bachelor's degree certificate and your transcripts. Other than that, it is just the general, documents you need to apply for any university. So your English proficiency certificate, because we do teach in English, CV and resume, a digital photo for your student ID, and again, a copy of your passport. So if you do have any extra questions you would like to contact us, you can always contact us in the following email. Please feel free to take a screenshot of this page if you would like to, remember the data or you don't want to write it down. You can also contact us via WhatsApp. So here is our WhatsApp number. Schedule a personal counseling session with one of our expert study advisors. They can help you figure out what program is right for you. If you are looking at various programs, all of the information can also be found on our website here. And otherwise, again, here is the application portal. So again, I thank you guys for your attention, and I'm looking forward to hopefully welcoming you soon to Berlin, the beautiful city, the capital of Germany, and to Steinbeis University, SMI.